about the issue of choice of law, because if you're drafting international contracts, then the aspect of choice of law makes a very important, comes as a very important question. So these are the issues that the IBA mostly, delves into and discusses in these training courses. There is also the IBA Young Lawyers LLM program, which is a very recent phenomenon because IBA is now an accredited institution that provides the LLM for anyone basically who wants to do an LLM distance learning or on-site. You even have scholarships available for pursuing the LLM course. So I'll just, the scholarships, awards, I've listed some of those here, which are we have the Legal Practice Division and the Public and Professional Interest Division of the IBA. There are annual scholarships provided in the areas of international sales, competition law, arbitration law, taxation, intellectual property law, technology law. And these are open to all. You don't have to be a member of the IBA. You can just visit the IBA website and you can see that usually there is a question that is put up and you are asked to respond to that question with a short essay or your opinion about that issue. And then there is a selection committee that is based within the different committees of the IBA. And if you are successful, then you get a scholarship. You get a scholarship to attend the annual conference or the specialist conference of the IBA, which is again a great opportunity to be able to interact with international lawyers, with lawyers who are coming from different parts of the world, and to be able to be a part of those sessions that are dealing with substantive areas of law. We also have a legal internship program, which is run by the IBA in the London office. And this program is for a duration of 3 months. Usually it is positions are available for young lawyers who've just qualified or who really have just finishing law. And there are again scholarships available for that. Many people don't know, but this is a very interesting opportunity because this way one gets to interact with many leading lawyers and many different lawyers from different areas of law. So we have the internship program, which is a very successful program. We get interns from all over the world. And I would really request you to, I've not provided the link, but I would request you to go onto the IBA website, which is www.ibanet.org. And all the information is provided there. And finally, the next slide enlists the other opportunities which are in other international organizations. The United Nations Office of Legal Affairs, which is based in Vienna, they have the United Nations Commission on International Trade Laws legal internship program, which works on drafting model laws. And I think that is a great opportunity because I myself was an intern with the United Nations in Vienna and worked on drafting the model law on procurement. So if you have an interest in working, working in the field of procurement, or would like to enhance your knowledge base and also interact with the UN legal officers, I think this is the place where you should, provided the link, you should visit the link and get more information about this. There's also the Permanent Bureau of the Hague Conference on Private International Law in The Hague. They conduct a legal internship program which usually deals with law reform and treaty drafting. So if you have an interest in drafting, working on treaties, and specifically in areas of personal laws, whether it's a family law issue, whether it's about child adoption, e-commerce, international child abduction. I mean, that was something I worked on when I was working with the Hague Conference. This is a unique opportunity. It gives you a unique opportunity to be able to get to that level and be able to get that experience of interacting and developing on your skills and interests. Because ultimately, it's it's an ongoing process. You can never be 100%, but you can surely be working towards that skill to develop that. Then the World Bank has a Legal Associates program, which is about World Bank's legal practice work and to develop country expertise and legal skills. And fourthly and lastly, I would also like to bring to your notice about this new organization called as iprobono.com. i-probono.com, which is an organization that connects civil society organizations who need legal advice and assistance with lawyers and law students who can offer those skills on pro bono basis. So this is a very, I would say, a very well-known organization and has been enlisted as one of the top organizations by the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron. So with this, I would just end my short presentation, and I would just say that, I'll be open for questions afterwards. I was told that when I was working on the issue of social media affecting the legal profession, that there was a very famous judge in the US Supreme Court, Justice Benjamin Cardozo. I read about him, and we were drafting, we were in a working group drafting the principles on social media. And I read a very interesting quotation from his book, which said that it is not about making rules for the passing hour. It is not about making rules for the passing hour. It is about setting principles for an expanding future. So I think that each one of us should remember that it is a very important aspect in our legal career, in our legal life. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Anurag. You did very well. I was very happy to know that you are the son of my close friend Ravi. Ravi is sitting here, Ravindra Bana. You mentioned about pro bono work. Pro bono work is very essential for every lawyer. Several of us do at least 10 to 20% of our cases free, without there being any organization for this. We are doing it on a voluntary basis. And some of us, we do certain types of cases free. If a pensioner comes, we do free. We don't charge anything. Likewise, if a student comes, we don't charge, though the parents can afford. So several of us are already, or a matter involving public interest, we do free. Therefore, that we are doing it at individual level. Good that you mentioned about it. And I think several of us would have noted down your references. Now, can I call upon Anindita Pujari?
Thank you, Chair. My dear friends, it's a great honor to be sharing my thoughts on the issue of young lawyers opening windows to new opportunities and skill development amidst a gathering as learned and as well informed as you. I thank the Bar Association of India for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with all of you. The issue specifically assigned to me to speak about is definitely very close to my heart, because being a young lawyer myself, I would rather prefer sharing some of my experiences, some of the challenges that I myself have faced in the bar, trying to establish a foothold in the Supreme Court of India. Before I begin, I would like to begin with a lighter note that I wonder, who is a young lawyer? When I look at the doyens of the bar sitting over here, it makes me think, maybe young lawyer, what are the qualities of a young lawyer? What makes you a young lawyer? Is it the agility? Is it the creativity? Is it the sheer energy? Or is it merely the age that makes you a young lawyer? So there are definitional issues before I even begin to speak about the issue. In India and maybe everywhere else, legal profession defies age and logic. I believe we have taken Oliver Wendell Holmes a bit too seriously, that life of law is not logic but experience. In fact, the United Nations, in its attempt to define youth, admits that the definition of youth perhaps changes. And in fact, this is a quote that I've taken from the UN website, which says, the definition of youth perhaps changes with the circumstances, especially with the changes in demographic, financial, economic, and socio-cultural settings, surely so in the legal professional setting as well. Now, coming back to the topic that I have been assigned to speak on is young lawyers, their challenges, and the opportunities that lay before them. Legal profession is a multidimensional profession, and it involves multifaceted realms of activity, which one is called upon to perform as a lawyer. As a young lawyer, one is amazed by the sheer variety of activity and opportunity that welcome you once you graduate from the law school. The windows of opportunity open towards litigation, academics, joining the non-governmental sector, joining the law firms to become a transactional lawyer, joining a legal process outsourcing firm, amongst many other challenging avenues that one may explore. According to the Bar Council of India, there are about 900 law schools and colleges in the country. And if I take an average, about 72,000 fresh graduates come out of these law schools and colleges per year in our country. Although the number seems to be large, as one says, and in practice it's very important to keep this in mind, is there is always a place for everyone, including you. Thus, the sheer number should not be enough to bog you down. Traditionally, the legal profession was equipped to deal with only national laws and only sometimes with international laws. As laws operated within the jurisdictional boundaries of a nation, likewise the lawyers' training and education was primarily focused on the national laws. The starting point being the constitution of a country, followed by a pyramidal structure of law having little exposure to international law. However, with the globalization and liberalization, it is not merely the economic processes and practices that have been opened up and have proceeded to interact at the transnational level, but every other sphere of human interaction, including legal interaction, is happening on a day-to-day basis. While India is getting influenced by international legal regime, it is also influencing the growth and direction of international law, the morning session being a witness to it, calling for better training, expertise in international trade laws, environmental laws, human rights law, etc. This further expands the available opportunities for young lawyers, as while India was relying on international expertise, such as the Advisory Center on WTO laws in Geneva for WTO laws, now Indian law firms are creating in-house domain expertise in such specialized branches of law. Similar is the trend in the growing LPO sector, where there is growth, where there is both vertical as well as horizontal value creation, wherein Indian lawyers are contributing to the large-scale legal services sector in the world. Even in the litigation sector, while lawyers have to handle cases pertaining to traditional areas of litigation such as property, family dispute, contracts, and constitutional issues, the nature and dimension of such litigation is surely changing. For instance, if in the older days a constitutional battle of Article 14 involved issues pertaining to substantive equality, addressing issues of reservation, etc., now with the infringement of the new rules of the game, Article 14 is being debated along the lines of providing level playing field. And I use the expression level playing field in quote and quotes. Definitely, this is a more direct approach to deal with substantive equality. We experience this changed notion of constitutional jurisprudence in the matters of spectrum allocation in recent times, as well as in airport privatization and so on and so forth. The legal profession in India is standing at the crossroads where the traditional still holds the field and the new and novel understanding of law and the role of legal profession is yet to pervade the thought horizon. While the Constitution reminds us the pivotal role of the lawyers in making access to justice a reality by envisaging access to a lawyer of one's choice as a fundamental right and making legal social responsibility a directive under the directive principles of state policy, whereby providing legal aid is a constitutionally mandated measure to ensure that lawyers respond to the society and its craving for justice. On the other hand, the law is a noble profession and is not a service which is up for sale, is struggling to find its supporters amongst a young mass of lawyers who want to prove their potential as lawyers who are less to none. Thus, the only conclusion that one can draw is law is a challenging profession, and the challenges are many, including the changeability that is the basic postulate of law. It is in this challenging environment that one has to explore possibilities, look for opportunities, and endeavor to succeed. A litigation lawyer faces many, many additional challenges. I feel, although there are opportunities that loom large across the barriers that are artificial, and I emphasize barriers that are artificial as well as barriers that are real, which exist nevertheless. Amongst the barriers that are strong, though artificial, I feel, is that the eternal question that a law student faces when he joins the law school, when he enrolls in the bar, when he starts his practice until he continues in the profession, is there anyone in your family who is a lawyer? And the thought that unless you belong to a family of lawyers, you can't succeed. No doubt, having some background of law in the family does help initially. Nevertheless, it is your perseverance and hard work that pays, because we all have to appreciate that a launching pad is only a launching pad, having limited utility. Thus, the background of a person is an initial barrier which can be breached by sheer hard work, I feel. However, it does bother a young lawyer who is just out of law school to think of litigation as an option. I'm sure with encouragement from senior counsels and the bar, this artificial barrier can be successfully crossed. The remuneration. Another aspect of artificial barrier that can be addressed is the remuneration or the compensation packages which are being offered to the junior lawyers at the bar, which does not attract enough talent as of now. So this can be looked into, and a minimum standard of compensation package can be devised. The other artificial barrier, which pertains to equal opportunity for women lawyers and persons with disability to participate in the legal profession. Neither the structure of the court nor the functional modes of the law offices are disabled-friendly or women-friendly. The Supreme Court of India does not have law books for the blinds. I have only seen a single senior advocate in the Supreme Court of India and in Delhi High Court practicing with his entire paper book being prepared in Braille, and he has got his case citations also converted into Braille script. Whereas at his own cost, but what is the system which is required to do the hand holding? Where is that system? That simply doesn't exist. The facilities for advocates on the wheelchair is negligible. Except for high courts and the Supreme Court, the facilities provided to women lawyers is also pathetic. I myself have suffered to remain away from the profession, although I wanted to practice on attaining motherhood, because even as on today, the Supreme Court of India lacks the provision for a daycare center for the kids. So where do you go? You basically withdraw yourself from the profession, stay at home. So these are the ways that you get tweaked out of the system even if you want to remain. In my interaction with a lady lawyer from Kerala on the hurdles that women lawyers are facing, she explained as to how ladies' common room in the court premises do not have sufficient and clean toilets.